I wish
It
Citadel
would be nice,
existed.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some version of Manticore, in a less evil sort of,
Right.
way.
And I just want to know more and more about you from Italian friends I had around me. And they told me one thing, that she is a serious superstar. And tell you why? Because she once co-hosted Sanremo, which is the Super
my
Bowl of Italy. I'm like,
God!
what is Sanremo? And then I went to the internet trying to look for Sanremo. And
Can you
that's-
believe that? I did like maybe 20 movies, but the time I conducted that show was like,
Our world is in Honey Bunny and certainly Citadel are in ours, but they're very subtle.
In this world of Citadel,
Yeah.
There's already Priyanka Chopra who's played a spy. When you're watching her on that show, were you taking notes?
I was very inspired by her performance. And I just thought to myself, please let me be at least as good as her, because it would be, just it. Okay, perfect. But no, I couldn't.
Hello and welcome. This is Mayank Shekhar from Midday India. With me is Gina. There's, of course, Matilda. And, well, in Gina's case, of course, you're the showrunner and the executive producer. You are the Italian superstar, my friend. And we'll get to that aspect of your life as well. Of Citadel, Diana. I'm saying Diana because...
Diana, exactly.
As against Diana, because we're in London right now.
I know.
And there's another Diana, well known from here. But it's very different. It's Italian pronunciation, right?
Diana.
So I'm going to be very, very careful. Say Diana.
don't worry,
with a D or a D? With a D sound.
Diana.
Diana. And that's the Italian arm of Citadel Global. There is another arm which is Indian, right? And it's such an amazing thing that there are two arms of this particular show. One is Italian, one is Indian, because these two countries actually have a vast history of cinema.
Absolutely.
And that's what's really common between them, isn't it?
Absolutely. Histories that go back decades.
Right.
I mean, and supersede 100 years, which is pretty amazing. Both of which have very, very strong cultural identities.
Right.
Obviously, our country isn't as vast as India, but it's where there are certain values that I think are incredibly
Quite similar,
important.
right? Like the family. Is a very big thing in Italy and India as well.
Family.
Right.
And I think another sort of recurring through line, if we look at Indian and Italian culture and cinema, is the fact that it's really, at the end of the day, despite the genre, despite the action, the adrenaline, or the romance, that we're trying to tell deeply emotional stories where they're character-driven and they have strong interpersonal dynamics. And then I think those are similarities that aren't just about Diana and Diana. Now you
go.
Diana and Honey Bunny, but also the first season of Citadel. All of these shows are about extraordinary people in extraordinary situations whose interior motivations are at the end of the day about saving their families.
Right.
And I think that's kind of cool.
I think the final frame of Citadel says that there's going to be Citadel Diana, right? And they kind of make it known. Did you know that there'll be the Indian Honey Bunny as well?
Absolutely.
It was always known to you.
Meaning when we started this 5.5 years ago, we all began, obviously Citadel began before us, but we all began at the same time. And what was so fantastic about this experience is that the writers and showrunners, for a period of time, we would get together every 2 weeks, spend 2 hours over a Zoom, just exchanging ideas.
How amazing.
I mean, it was fantastic in saying, okay, this is where we're at and this is what we're doing, and also having the opportunity to bounce off ideas and be able to collaborate with all of these incredible
So you're telling me,
creatives.
like I think David Weil mentioned that during the premiere, that there was a universal writing room, and of course it's a very, very unique concept.
It's never
happened before.
Never.
Like there is a series, then there are series after series coming out of that from different parts of the world.
But it's not an actual writer's room because it wasn't us developing each other's stories. It was more about us sharing
what you're up to.
what we were up to. If we, where we were at in our creative process,
Right.
as opposed to what's traditionally considered a writer's room, where there could be 27 people for 10 months,
Right, like going episode after
breaking
episode,
down
right. Yeah.
episodes.
So when you're listening to that conversation, maybe it'll inspire you to do something else on that show, which kind of links it up to the India version, or maybe the Citadel, which is the global. Is that what it was?
Again, our mission from Agbo and the Russos to both Raj, DK, and Sita, and to myself and Alessandro Fabri was, you're creating your own shows. They have to have distinct narratives. They have to stand up on their own. There was no diktat to be contaminated in terms of our stories.
Right.
So everybody developed their stories for what was best for their country
Right.
and their vision. But yeah, there are subtle winks in both of the shows.
Easter eggs, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, very, very subtle for
Right.
super fans.
Yeah, I've
where-
only seen one episode. I saw none yet.
So
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
so
yeah.
so where our world is in Honey Bunny and certainly Citadel are in ours, but they're very subtle because we didn't want to, not we, but it was sort of the Russos. It wasn't the idea of making interconnected stories
Not
like
in an obvious
Marvel.
way anyway.
Not
Right.
like Marvel, and
Right.
where suddenly everybody's crossing over, and obviously it's impossible because we're on 3 different time frames,
Exactly.
right?
You know, in your case, of course, Matilda, I mean, you were playing a spy in the world of Citadel.
Yeah.
There's already Priyanka Chopra who's played a spy
Yeah.
in that Citadel universe. When you're watching her on that show, were you taking notes? Were you thinking about ways in which you could sort of be inspired by the performance? What do you think of her performance, firstly?
I was very inspired by her performance, most of all because I think she's an amazing actress, and it was beautiful to see her performing. I went to the premiere in London a year and a half ago, and I already finished to shoot actually Citadel, so I couldn't take anything from her.
it.
And I just thought to myself, please let me be at least as good as her, because it would be, just it. Okay, perfect. But no, I couldn't.
I have to say, like, everyone who came out of that show, the premiere show, they had like the most amazing things to say about you.
Thank you. No, I'm happy about it.
And like a lot of people across the world, perhaps even in India, they're probably going to see you for the first time.
Yeah, right. I know.
And I just want to know more and more about you from Italian friends I had around me. And they told me one thing, that she is a serious superstar. And tell you why? Because she once co-hosted San Remo, which is the Super
my
Bowl of Italy. I'm like,
God!
what is San Remo? And then I went to the internet trying to look for San Remo. And
Can
that's-
you believe that?
that is
Can you
amazing,
believe
and now
that?
I'm actually now part of this new subculture called San Remo, which
It's
is
incredible.
No, you know what's
I mean,
so funny? I've lived in Italy for many, many years. I have never watched it.
But this is hardcore mainstream
no,
commercial.
No, but it's-
mainstream.
it's
the
the biggest
It's
thing
like our
that
Super Bowl.
Amazing.
Exactly.
You're also saying
It's
Super
like
Bowl.
our
Super Bowl.
That's when they drop the new ads.
So
and,
I did like maybe 20 movies, but the time I conducted that show was like, everybody knew me. So
that is nuts.
I
And you're
was
a
like,
singer
what
to
am I
start-
doing?
You're a singer to start with, right? No?
I was a singer, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I was
Her
a
voice
singer.
is unbelievable.
I wanted to be a
Brilliant.
singer when I was little, actually.
Did you sing in Diana?
No, not actually, no.
You didn't
no.
get a chance to, but you have sung before in your movies.
Yeah, I
Right.
did.
Is there something that I should definitely check out tonight on Spotify?
Yeah, you should. You should.
Yeah,
It's
which
fun.
one? Which song should I definitely check out?
Oh my god! From a movie?
Oh, let her
or-
decide that.
Oh, I think.
Oh,
there's-
maybe.
No, you said you about she.
No, you don't
no,
see.
she doesn't know that well. Well, I'm very proud of a sequence that I did for a movie. That's called Robbing Mussolini,
Yeah.
where I sing
pensavo
while
una
acting,
canzone vera.
and I'm very proud of that scene.
You know what? That is fantastic. I thought you meant one of your songs.
No,
'cause
of
I don't know.
course, of course.
But she's fabulous in that scene.
Yeah.
Very.
Final question.
Yes.
There is a world that's created. We also had this conversation during the premiere about, all kinds of weird things happen in the world. Who knows, right? But this particular world, and how realistic do you think this could be, where there's a deep state that we already know of, or the CIAs and the KGBs of the world, right? There is a deep state within deep state, which is actually ex-spies, that Citadel. Then there is the rich people of the world having their own spies called Manticore, which is mostly where you are present.
Yeah.
How much do you believe this story? Do you think it could be real?
You know what? Honestly, just like there's a dark web, anything is possible. And why not? I think that there is a tradition that goes back centuries where powerful families want to maintain control for their own personal gain. And it wouldn't surprise me if they created a network to sort of guarantee that. In this moment in time, I find it perhaps less plausible that a bunch of people are going to get together and for good and try to combat,
Even
organized, but also just, organized government and countries. And like, I wish Citadel
would be nice,
existed.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some version of Manticore, in a less evil sort of,
Right.
Way.
Well, I totally believe the story, and of course, I'm gonna go and check out the song, the
Great,
movie. But
thank
this was
you.
amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. And I really hope you watch the rest of the show.
Will do. Will do.
Okay.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.